a look at an equation of a circle. So again, make a new tab, title it equation of a circle, and pause the video and copy this down. You do not get any credit if this is a sketch. It has to be exact. So if you don't have grids, you have to draw grids. Again, you do not get any credit for a sketch. Okay, so pause the video and copy that down. Alright, so this is an equation of a circle, and we covered this when we did the introduction. It is part of the formulas you'll be given. The only thing they won't tell you is that h and k is the center. Alright, so find the equation of each of these circles. So first thing you need to do is find the center coordinates, hk. So example 1, what's that center? -4, -6. So write that down. For example 1, the center is -4, -6. This is a listening trick. Color in the word center. Find the radius r. So pick from the center to the circle. How many is that? That's 4. And you can do it up, down, left, or right. Plug it into the formula. So first label h and k. So x is h and k is y. And then plug it right into the formula. So open parenthesis x minus, and then what's h? -4, close parenthesis, squared, plus, open parenthesis, y minus k, which is -6, close parenthesis, squared, equals r, which is 4, squared, the radius squared. Alright, then just simplify. So let's go take care of the signs. 2 negatives are going to make a positive. 2 negatives are going to make a positive. Equals 4 squared is 16. And that's it. So that's the equation of a circle. So again, example 2, the center of the circle, which is going to be -6, +6. So you're going to do x and then y. The radius, r, which I did right, so I'm going to show you down. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then plug it into the formula. So label h and k, and then plug it in. So open parentheses, x minus h, which is -6, close parentheses, squared, plus y minus k, which is 6, close parentheses, squared, equals the radius, which is 5 squared. Okay. Then go ahead and take care of the signs. 2 negatives make a positive. And then 5 squared is 25. And that's it. Example 3, start with the center again. So the center is 6, 6. And the radius is equal to... So again, the radius is from the center to any part of the circle. And you can just count the boxes, 3. And then you're going to label h and k and plug it in. Right, so again, open parenthesis, x minus h, which is 6, close parenthesis, squared, plus y minus k, which is 6, close parenthesis, squared, equals the radius, which is 3, squared. Take care of any signs, and no signs to take care of, so we're just going to rewrite that. And then 3 squared is equal to 9. Right, example 4, what's the center? The center is 0, 0. And the radius, this is a listening check, color in the inside of the 2 zeros. From the center to the circle is 2. Label h and k and plug it in. So open parenthesis, x minus h, which is 0, close parenthesis, squared, plus y minus k, which is 0, close parenthesis, squared, equals the radius, which is 2. When you subtract 0 from anything, it's going to be that thing. So that just simplifies to x squared plus y squared equals 2 squared, which is 4. So anytime you see x squared plus y squared, you know it's the origin or the center is 0, 0. Alright, example 5. Alright, again, same thing, label h and k. Use the distance formula to find the radius if you're not given the radius, and just plug it into the formula and simplify. It's just like the previous examples, only they give you the center and the radius, and sometimes you have to find the radius. So just plugging in 0, 0 in h and k, this is what you're going to get. Simplify it again. So x squared plus y squared equals 4 squared, which is 16. Right. Let me do one where the radius looks a little funny, but it's the same exact thing. Label h and k, plug it into the formula. So h is 0 and k is -9. Equals the radius squared. Now the radius squared is 5 radical 5 all squared. Now we're going to do this in a calculator, but I'm also going to show you how to do this by hand. Simplifies to x squared plus, and if I fix that sign, y plus 9 squared. So let's talk about this. So I'll show you how to do it in a calculator, but I'll show you how to do it by hand as well. So 5 radical 5 times 5 radical 5, that's what it means to square something, to do it twice. The same thing times the same thing. So what you do is you multiply the numbers outside, which is going to give you 25, and then you multiply the radicals inside. So it's going to be 5 times 5 inside, and that makes what? A book of 5, right? So I can put the 5 outside. So it'll be 25 times 5, which is 125. So I'll prove that to you using the calculator. And be careful that it's the whole thing squared, not just radical 5. Or if you want, you can type it in twice. 5 radical 5 times 5 radical 5. Same thing. Okay. Alright, so let's take a look at one where they don't give you the radius, where you have to find the radius. So again, you start off with the center, which is the origin, 0, 0, and now you have to find the radius. So your center is 0, 0, and then your radius, and I'm going to go up in twos, so call half a box 1. So -2 and 8 is where it passes through. So radius to that point, the center to that point is my radius. Okay, so my circle looks something like this or whatever. So this time I can't count it, right? I have to actually calculate it. And what do I know that will find the distance between 2 points? The distance formula, and we've done this several times before, right? So just to remind you what the distance formula is, which is also going to be the radius in this case. It's square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Alright, so all you got to do is, remember, if you forgot how to do it, just watch that video on distance. Label x1, y1, x2, y2, and then plug in all the numbers. So open parentheses, x1, which is x2, minus x1, which is 0, squared, plus y2, which is 8, minus y1, which is 0, squared. And punch all that in the calculator, but without the square root in the beginning, just because it might be a decimal. So punching it exactly how I see it. This is a listening check. Color in 8 minus 0. I get 68. So the square root of 68 is my radius. So if I do the square root of 68, you're going to see it's a decimal. So I'm going to leave it like that, so I don't have to write it all out. Alright, so now my radius is that. Now we keep going, so we're going to plug it into the formula. So we'll plug in h and k. So it's going to be x minus h, which is 0, squared, plus y minus k, which is also 0, squared, equals the radius, which is square root of 68 squared. And the square root of 68 squared is the square root of 68 times the square root of 68, which will always give you 68, because you'll have a book of 68. But again, you can just use a calculator. This is a listening check. Put a box around example 7. Alright, so this simplifies to x squared plus y squared equals 68. And that's my equation of my circle. So sometimes it won't give you the radius, so you have to find it. So let's do another one of those. So you label the center h and k. We've done that before. But they don't give me the radius, I have to find it. So it's the distance between the center and the point on the circle. So I'd use the distance formula, which again is the square root of x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared. So we're going to label x1, y1, and x2, y2, and plug it in. So it's the square root of, open parentheses, x2, which is 5 over 2, minus x1, which is 0, all squared, plus y2, which is -3, minus y1, which is +3, squared. This is a listening check. Color in -3 minus 3. We'll punch the whole thing as we see it in the calculator. You just have to put 5 over 2 in its own parentheses, because otherwise you have to tell the calculator, I want you to do 5 divided by 2. So I get a decimal. Now, when you get a decimal in a calculator, it's really, really easy. Press math and then enter, and it's going to give you a fraction back. So again, I'm going to write it down. Press math, enter. And when you do that, you get the square root of 169 over 4. Now if I try to do that, I'll get a decimal. So I'm going to leave it as a fraction, as a square root and a fraction. Alright, so now that I have my radius, so that's my radius, and I have the center, I can find the equation of my circle. So all I got to do is plug it into the equation of a circle, which remember is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared, and equals the radius squared. So plug in the numbers, x minus h, which is 0 squared, plus y minus k, which is 3 squared, the radius squared, which is square root of 169 over 4 squared. Alright, so simplify, that's going to give me x squared plus y minus 3 all squared equals, and the same thing twice with the square root is just 169 over 4. So again, I'll just prove that in the calculator. This is a listening check. Put a smiley face on the right of my finger. That's pretty much it. So let's practice.